Hello Wastelanders, Vlad here, and today by viewer request I'm going to show you how to merge foundations with your Wildwood Den prefab in Fallout 76. Let's jump on in. We're going to start today's build by using the Wildwood Den, and we're going to place it first. Now make sure you place this as high as the terrain you're on will let you. I recommend highly that you find some place with flat terrain because that's going to make your life easier here. But what you want to do once you have your Wildwood Den placed, you're going to grab a foundation and go over to the side. And we're going to place a foundation over to the side. And we want to use this foundation to get the correct height for our foundations, and we want it to be just below the lip of this little gray little extra lip liner that is around the bottom of the building, just above the foundation. And we want to do that because if you walk inside of the Wildwood Den, you'll notice that you step down when you come into it. So if we put it any higher than that, when we do our merge, they're going to flip and you're going to be able to see these foundations above the foundation of the Wildwood Den. So go ahead, make sure you adjust that, and then store the Wildwood Den. Now we're going to use this foundation we placed as a starting point, and we're going to build 5 foundations coming across. We want the first foundation attached to that first one we placed. And then we're going to put one on the very end of that last 5th foundation. So we should have like a U shape. And pay attention to where I have these green foundations. There are key points of our blueprint that we're going to create in the final ending. So I've highlighted them here just so you understand that their importance to the build. And we're also going to use them as kind of a guide to know where I'm building off of next. So we want to grab our floors again, and we're going to put a foundation on the inside portion of those upper U foundations that we had, and we want to put a wall in between them. And we want that with the wallpaper in facing the interior part of our build, and we want the regular textured side to be facing outward. Once those are in place, we can store that first foundation, and we'll slide the other one over to our center. And we're going to put another wall, and we want that facing the back end of the build. And we're going to go ahead and change that into a doorway. That's going to be important for the next step of the build, but this is what things should look like at this point in the build. So once we have that in place, we're going to actually go back to our Wildwood Den, and we're going to place it. Go ahead and place it as, anywhere at this point is fine in between those walls that we placed. And then we're just going to kind of bring it forward and center it with this door frame. And what we want to do is also make sure that the den itself is as high as it was when we originally placed it to determine the height of these foundations. So use the door frame to get things centered. Make sure that the Wildwood Den is as high as the terrain will let you go. And then you should be good to go. Once you have the spacing that you like and making sure that it's not at an angle, those sort of things, you can turn that wall into a solid wall or door frame into a solid wall. And then we're going to store these extra foundations, the ones that we did not highlight green when we're putting things together. And this is what you should have at this point. A Wildwood Den, 3 walls, 3 foundations with the wallpaper side all facing the Wildwood Den in the center. Now go ahead and blueprint everything that is left. We want the den, the 3 walls, and the 3 foundations. And once you have all that highlighted, go ahead and save your blueprint, name it what you like, and you're ready to move to the hardest part of the entire build. And the hardest part is placing the blueprint. Yes, it would seem like that should be the easiest. It is not. So here I am, just for example, it looks like everything should go, everything is green, but when I place it, it tells me it's intersecting with another object. The reason being is because this left foundation, the one on the far left, was into the ground. The skirting on these wooden foundations is above the ground, and it doesn't like that for whatever reason when we're trying to do these merges. So if I readjust and I put where all 3 of these foundations are above the ground level, it has no problem placing the blueprint. So for placing this, I do recommend you find some place with maybe a slight hill in the center. That way your center foundation and the Wildwood Den will be on that center hill, and these outer ones will be above the ground, and you won't have any problems. But this is the result once you are able to get it placed. You have the foundations nicely merged and centered on the Wildwood Den, and you're ready to go about incorporating the rest of your build into your merged foundations Wildwood Den. That's going to do it for today's video, everybody. I really hope that helps you out, especially those of you who may have run into a couple of issues working on it. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for the latest content from Vladministrator Gaming. And until next time, I'll see you in the wasteland.